What is going on, guys, and welcome to, just check that that's working, the WWE Raw Review for the 25th of July 2016. The first Raw post-brand split was a very, very good one. Now, in the midst of WWEcam's Battle of the Brands, Smackdown is up 15 points from draft night. Tune in to the Smackdown live review tomorrow, same time, to find out the results of this week's points and see who is leading the Battle of the Brands. But put it this way, Raw's show means that Smackdown have to respond. Raw had to respond. Smackdown was 15 points up from the draft. They had a better draft, in my opinion. They had to respond Raw with a good show tonight and set the marker. Set a point that Smackdown can aim for, and did they do that? Yes, they did. Smackdown is a hell of a show to reply to Raw's statement of intent tonight. And what a Monday Night Raw it was. Let's just start very, very early on. We won't talk about the Battle of the Brands particularly until, as I say, the last segment of Smackdown Live. We'll be doing all the points for the best match, best segment, best show, and rating as well, and seeing what that means to the Battle of the Brands MrWWEcam leaderboard. That will be posted on Twitter on Wednesday at 12 o'clock, so you guys can get involved and see how you guys go. And if anybody wants to join in with that, you're more than welcome to. Totally understand, though, if you don't want to. But let's get into the show, and let's start then with the opening part, and that was the theme song. Raw's changed the theme song. Shine Down, Enemies is the song. It's a very good song. I like the song. I thought surely with this brand split, basically it's a restart. We need a new logo. We got that. And the Raw logo's growing on me. I didn't initially like it, but it's growing on me. And a new theme, we got that. And a new set, and we got that too. Fresh feel to Monday Night Raw. We also got Corey Graves. What a good first night he had. No doubt about that, though. Everyone knew he would have a good show. Michael Cole and Byron Saxton, loving that commentary team. And that's just the logistics of Monday Night Raw. But let's talk about the segments. The opening segment. Mick Foley and Stephanie McMahon in the ring. I'm thinking, oh my God, some things just never change. We're going to get a massively long segment by the authority figures of Monday Night Raw. But it wasn't. It wasn't a particularly long segment at all. It was quick, to the point, and got the show off to a decent start. It addressed some of the things from last night, including the fact that Roman Reigns was at fault for the fact that the Raw didn't have a main title. It addressed that problem, as I said, and it created a new title, the WWE Universal title. The name's growing on me as well. Yeah, I don't mind the name. And it also announced matches for the night, sorry. We had a Fatal 4-Ways, 2 Fatal 4-Ways. The winner of them Fatal 4-Ways matches, they would face each other in the main event. The winner of that would face Seth Rollins at SummerSlam for the WWE Universal Championship. 2 huge blockbuster matches for the first show of Raw's new era. We also got Sasha Banks versus Charlotte announced early on in the show. That would be for the Women's Championship. So a great way to start the show, and we went right into the first of the Fatal 4-Way matches. Finn Balor, Cesaro, Kevin Owens, and Rusev here. And to be honest with you, what I liked about this match is I literally could see it going any way. The only one I'd have been completely shocked about would have been Rusev. Then I'd have been a bit... I was shocked when Finn Balor won it, but I was expecting it to be either Cesaro or Kevin Owens. But I was over the moon when Finn Balor did get the victory. Very, very good match. Is a contender for the match of the week, match of the brands for the first week, but a top match. And I think with Raw, we got 4 great matches tonight, and that's not usually the case. And I think that shows you the intent of Mick Foley, Stephanie McMahon, what they want Raw to be. They want it to have non-stop wrestling, quality action, quality matches. We've got 4 of them tonight, and sometimes we come away from Raw struggling to find one good match from the show, but we got 4 top quality matches tonight. And as I say, I was completely shocked when Finn Balor won this championship, when he won the Fatal 4-Way match. Very, very good match, as I say. Be interested to see what happens to Cesaro, Kevin Owens, and Rusev, whether they go after the United States Championship, or Cesaro and Kevin Owens go after Rusev's United States Championship. We'll have to wait and see. But a great match. Some probably a little bit upset that maybe Cesaro didn't win, but I think it was Finn Balor's time. And what a way to make your debut on Monday Night Raw, winning a high important fatal 4-way match and heading into the main event of the show. Great way to start the show, to say the least. We then saw Nia Jax's debut. I'm over the moon she's on the main roster. She could be, like a lot of people are saying, what WWE wanted Karma to be. She could be that, and hopefully she will be. She faced... Fuck, I can't remember the woman's name, but she demolished her. And she went for her leg drop finisher. She hit it, 1-2, picked her up, and did a couple more moves. That was good. And these squash matches, they'll work. They'll work in the short term. They won't work in the long term. I want to see Nia Jax in some sort of program. I want to see her facing whoever. The problem is the roster too small? Is it not got enough depth for there to be multiple feuds in the women's division? I don't, as of yet, really know either way. Maybe we'll see Nia Jax go against Paige. Maybe we'll see Nia Jax go against Alicia Fox. No, Nikki Bella close to returning. Bayley close to coming up. There are other people there. But it's who do you want her to face, who she can beat. Because she's going to have to win this feud. Because she will be near the WWE Women's title by the end of the year. I do expect Nia Jax to be to have a WWE title match. I think after Charlotte and Sasha have gone their separate ways, Nia will be next in line. But it is a squash match. You can't say a squash match is ever fantastic, but it did the job. It showed her as a beast. It showed her to the fans that maybe have never seen her on NXT, didn't get to watch her on NXT, just what Nia Jax is about. That she's a brute force, and she should be feared by every WWE woman in that roster. And for the record, any superstar. Because you do not want to meet Nia Jax down that locker room. She will take no trash talk from anybody. Great showing, great debut for Nia Jax. We then saw the second of the two fatal 4-way matches. This one included Roman Reigns, Sami Zayn, Sheamus, and Chris Jericho. Just to note, I was a little bit disappointed that we didn't see Neville in one of the fatal 4-way matches, but these were two great matches, and I can live with it. This one took a bit of a different dynamic. Zayn, Sheamus, Chris Jericho ganging up on Roman Reigns to begin with. This one I thought Roman Reigns was going to win, and he did. But they kind of hinted at Sami Zayn winning. They hinted at Sheamus winning. Sheamus looked good in this match. And I think the brand split will do very well for him. What's next for Zayn, Sheamus, Jericho? Who knows? You kind of feel like maybe Reigns is going to be facing one of these. Because obviously at the moment, Reigns is not on the SummerSlam card. And there's no obvious way of him getting onto that card. So it'll be interesting to see how it develops over the next few weeks. But another good match. Not as good as the first match. But still a very good match, and I mean close to being as good as the first match. Roman Reigns getting the victory, and as I say, Sami Zayn, Chris Jericho, and Sheamus looking good in defeat, much the same as the other three in the previous Fatal 4-Way looked very good in defeat, and that's something that WWE and Monday Night Raw can take great credit at. It didn't make anybody look dumb, it didn't make anybody look stupid, it made everybody look strong, and still had the two people that wanted to come out winners, Roman Reigns and Finn Balor, come out winners. The New Day celebration. Now, there were kind of two segments which kind of were a bit at this show and stopped it from getting into the really, really high numbers rating-wise. You'll see what it is, and I think it's a fair rating. Because, yeah, I do. I think it's a fair rating, but it just stopped it, maybe pulled it back a 0.5. If these two segments wouldn't have been there or they'd have been better, it could have been possibly into the realms of 9. Possibly have hit that 9. We'll have to wait and see what rating I give at the end. But the New Day, they came out. They had the video package was good. WWE always create a great video package. We then saw some. I mean, that fan, of course, was told before. WWE. I don't know. Perhaps he was a backstage guy. I didn't really find it all that funny. It was a bit lame. A bit lame to say the least. But what I did like, and what we'll cover this segment that didn't make it a complete train wreck or car crash, however you want to say it, was Carl Anderson and Doc. Is it Doc or is it Luke Gallows? I think it is Luke, isn't it? He's not called. I don't know. I never know whether he's called Luke Gallows or Doc Gallows in WWE. I know he was before Luke Gallows or Gallows. I can't say the fucking name, can I? But this is good. And now New Day's title reign is under serious threat. These two men, Carl Anderson and Gallows, they might be the guys to dethrone New Day. New Day have now got past that record. Will they become complacent? Will New Day think we've got past this record, we've done it, and lose a little bit of focus and not be as focused as they head into what you would expect to be a SummerSlam encounter with the two of the three members of the club in Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows? And can Gallows and Anderson win the titles at SummerSlam and be the new WWE champions 1 year on from when New Day won the titles? We will have to wait and see. And a side note, Booty-O cereal is now an official cereal. I know, how excited. But yeah, good onslaught, a good physical fight from the club to the New Day. And be interesting to see where this one goes and whether Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows can be the team to dethrone the New Day. We'll have to wait and see. We then saw Neville versus Mr. Irrelevant, Curtis Axel, the last draft pick. But I think if Curtis Axel is booked well, or recover, forget the social outcast. They've got to be finished. But if you book Curtis Axel correctly, he can be a player. He could be a solid mid-carder on your show. And they didn't bury him. I would even say this wasn't a glorified squash match. I think Curtis Axel got in too much onslaught, got in a few too many maneuvers and moves and punches for it to be a squash match or even a glorified squash match. But Neville did win in his return. And as I say, a bit disappointed he weren't in the Fatal 4-Way match, but he's only just come back. To throw him straight back in, there are pros and cons to that. The cons, you leave someone out that's been fighting for the past 4 to 5 months while Neville's been out and has been there and been fighting like Sheamus, who probably feels like they deserve it more. The advantage, you get Neville and he looks like a big time thing, but Neville looks like a big time thing. I think for Sheamus, I think it was the best option. I think it re-established Sheamus as a top star. Neville didn't need to be established as a top star because he wouldn't have won the match. So it would kind of be returning a guy in a Fatal 4-Way match, not to win the Fatal 4-Way match. Yeah, I think this was probably the best choice. But Curtis Axel, Neville, they put on an okay match. It didn't go too long. Neville did get the win. Nice to see the Red Arrow back in WWE, and more importantly, back on Monday Night Raw. Could Adrian Neville win the Universal title? You know what? I think he could be in with a title shot by the end of the year for that Universal title. I really genuinely believe that. Can he be the first British champion or world champion if we can make this a world championship? Well, I suppose it is a world championship. Is it a world? I don't know. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see, but an okay segment to say the least. We then saw one of my favourite parts of Monday Night Raw, Sasha Banks take on Charlotte. There were bits in this match that I frickin' well loved. The Eddie Guerrero bit. We know Sasha loves Eddie Guerrero. It's her hero. And the bit that where she honoured him. She did the Eddie Guerrero trick and got Dana Brooke out, pushed back into the backstage locker room. That was extremely good and very entertaining to watch. And clever from Sasha Banks. And then we saw the match continue. We saw a dangerous spot where I honestly thought Sasha was extremely hurt. Luckily she wasn't. We then saw an absolutely beautiful somersault off the top rope from Charlotte. Great performance from Charlotte. But her reign is over. The journey of Sasha Banks, the story of the legit boss, ended so much as it ended at climax. That did not come out right. You should just never use the word climax. It never comes out right. Sasha Banks won the title, and her journey to the title, her journey to the top, we reached it. We reached the top, and now it's all about what she can do while she's at the top. The emotion was real. You could see what it meant to Charlotte. The crowd went nuts. I went freaking nuts. I went mad. The first new champion in the new era, WWE Women's Champion, Sasha Banks. Is the women's title going to be exclusively on Raw? From the looks of Raw, it might well be, but it looks like we're going to see the rematch at SummerSlam and possibly another rematch or so. But as I say, once these two have done, and I think Sasha will come through, still the champ. Expect to see Sasha Banks versus Nia Jax in a couple of months' time. And then when Bayley comes up, expect to see Bayley versus Charlotte. And then eventually seeing Bayley versus Sasha Banks at WrestleMania in the rematch of all rematches. So yeah, Sasha Banks, the women's champion, the new women's champion. Great match, great moment, great story. Loved it. One of my favourite moments of Raw. And I think for the hard hitting fan, that didn't come out right. Not the casual fan, the loyal fan, the fan that tunes in every single week has seen the journey of Sasha Banks. She's come through NXT. We've seen her get so close at WrestleMania, only to fall short. Her kind of hiatus from the show. Finally, we get to see her win. It was a great payoff for us loyal fans, because I do feel like sometimes WWE kind of they give more happy moments to the casual fans, and us loyal fans, we don't really get these really extraordinary moments. But we got two tonight. Sasha Banks winning the title was certainly one of them. We then saw Braun Strowman face James Elsham. That's what I'm going to go for. That might have been his name. We're going to go with that. Who was tiny, absolutely tiny. Byron was interviewing him. It was quite funny. Braun Strowman demolished him. Strowman now got his own entrance music, certainly going alone, as we knew from the brand split. But yeah, definitely going to be his own entity. Be interested to see where he goes and what sort of program, what sort of feud he's going to be involved with, or whether they just have him beat down a load of these. For me, Strowman, the way I book Strowman, this is just my personal opinion, is I'd have him have maybe another couple of weeks of enhancement talents, beating them, demolishing them, slowly showing more and more moves to his arsenal, and then I'd have him go after a couple of kind of low mid carders. I'd have him go after them and just demolish them for a couple of weeks and beat them up, and then you could have some sort of hero. So let's say, for example, he's beat James Elsham. He's going to next week beat another enhancement talent. Next week the following week another enhancement talent. Then he goes after, say, Curtis Axel, and he demolishes him. Whether that be a pre-match assault, whether that be a post-match assault as well as the squash match, whether we don't have a squash match, you don't have to necessarily bury them. You could just have him attack him at the start of the match. Then he can go after... trying to think of somebody else on the roster, the Raw roster, that he could go after. Maybe are the Ascension on Raw, or are they on SmackDown? No, I think they're on SmackDown. Anyway, he could go after somebody else. Bo Dallas, for example, go after the other Social Outcast member, attack him pre-match, and then you could have someone rise up, some hero rise up and take him on, and that could be Neville, for example. That could be Neville. I'm trying to think who else it could be. Neville's probably the best outcome here, from what I'm feeling. Just trying to think. Let's get up the Raw roster. Obviously, apologies. It will take me a couple of weeks to just work. Just 100% be sure who's on what roster, because obviously at the moment it's very difficult to remember who's on what. So yeah, if we just go to Raw and we have a look who's on Raw. He could go after Bo Dallas. He could go after Jack Swagger even. Build up that feeling of real hatred towards him after he's just tearing through people. And we could see maybe Mark Henry, but I don't know whether that would be good. I think putting him in the ring with someone like Neville would be a better option. Yeah, Neville for me. You could do Titus, but I'm not feeling it. I'm feeling Neville. I'm feeling Neville to be the one, to come out and save Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel and Jack Swagger, who have been beaten up pre-match by Braun Strowman, saving them, and they could go on and face each other in a match, and Strowman and Neville could put on a match, and that would be the way I'd book Braun Strowman into a feud, and you could still have him coming across as a complete and utter monster. But yeah, that's the way I'd book it. Not that any of you guys are interested, but I just thought I'd tell you anyway. We then saw the second kind of dud segment of the show, a bit stupid. Enzo and Cass versus the Shining Stars. Golden Truth came through, playing Pokemon Go in the middle of the ring. I mean, for God's sake. This is why I feel like Raw should just be 2.5 hours. Especially now with a smaller roster. I think it's perfect for a 2.5 hour show. You know, and then you cut out this segment, and you cut out the other sort of crappy segment that we saw. What was that other segment that we saw that was rubbish? Let's just go. The new. Well, you don't necessarily cut it out, but you make it so that it's. You know, I don't know. I just feel like it's a little bit too long, Raw. But yeah, Enzo Amore and Big Cass getting a win. Who they'll go on to face next? Who knows? It's not a particularly deep tag team division. They'll probably be facing Shining Star, Golden Truth, other tag teams from now until the Club or New Day have won, and then we'll probably see them go to the tag team championship match. Because obviously Cena's not there, so they're not going to stay involved with AJ Styles because they're both on Smackdown. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. It looks like possibly we're going to see a Shining Star versus Golden Truth feud. Yeah, I know, it sounds greatly interesting, doesn't it? Then we saw the second epic moment of the show, Finn Balor versus Roman Reigns. I was convinced Roman Reigns was going to win. You know, it reminded me of Cesaro versus Roman Reigns in the Survivor Series tournament when Seth Rollins pulled his ACL. Well, not pulled it, Cameron, you fucking idiot. Had the ACL injury. And we had that tournament. And Roman Reigns faced Cesaro on Monday Night Raw in, I think, the first round or the second round, perhaps. And everybody wanted Cesaro to win. But you just knew Roman Reigns was going to win. But there was that 10% chance here that just believed that Cesaro was going to win. And if he would have won, there would have just been an absolutely incredible reaction from me and millions of other fans. Tonight, we got it again with Finn Balor. But this time, that 10% it won. Things happen in WWE that are incredible. This was something incredible. What a debut from Finn Balor. One of the best debuts in WWE history. You know, I look back at Owens' debut where he punched John Cena, hit him with a pop-up powerbomb in his debut. That was incredible. This has to go above. And Finn Balor was drafted very, very early on. Second or third pick. I think it was third, but it was third pick. And, you know, everyone was saying, oh, that shows where WWE and Raw values him. And tonight, it reinforced that at SummerSlam. Listen to this. Drink it in, man, as Chris Jericho would say. Finn Balor is going one-on-one with Seth frickin' Rollins for the WWE Universal Championship. Now, that, for me personally, is a dream match. That match, I said it about Battleground and Zayn and Owens. Apologies I didn't do a review. I'll talk a bit about Battleground in a minute. That Zayn and Owens would steal the show. My money, and they did. My money on SummerSlam stealing the show? Well, let me think about that for a second. Finn Balor, Seth Rollins. It's a no-brainer. These two going to tear the house down. They're going to make Brooklyn their bitch. This match will be incredible. And we will have to wait and see whether Finn Balor can complete the most incredible debut month and win the title. Because, I mean, it wouldn't be that Seth Rollins has won the title so he'd lose the title again. It's the first time. What a match. I can't wait for it. Maybe the Balor Club will get involved. Maybe we'll see Carl Anderson and maybe out of SummerSlam on Monday Night Raw, the Balor Club will have not just the WWE Universal Championship, but the Tag Team Championships as well. Could it happen? Who freaking knows? This match was great. Arguably the best of the three, out of the three, so the two Fatal 4-Ways and then this one. But, you know, Sasha and Charlotte is so difficult. I mean, Smackdown, if they want them 10 points for the best match, they're going to have an incredible classic. Because at the moment, you know, if there's an equally good match on SmackDown, I'm going to have to give the points to Raw, because they've had 4 amazing matches. So SmackDown needs an incredible match. Can it do it? The ball's in your court, Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon. Make it happen. We'll have to wait and see. But Finn Balor, incredible. When he hit the coup de grace and when he got the 3 count, I went crazy. I haven't reacted like that in a long time in WWE. And I'm not going to lie to you. heading in after the brand split, I was so excited for the brand split. I felt just a little bit underwhelmed by it, and I kind of felt myself slowly, and I didn't want to say it, but not falling out of love, but just slowly that maybe my love was fading away from WWE. Monday Night Raw and Battleground, they made sure that love stayed there. I was disappointed with the end of Battleground, so that didn't really help with my kind of way that I was looking at WWE. But I genuinely consider if Roman Reigns would have won the title, I would have been so angry. I'd have probably, and it sounds bad, but I don't know whether I'd have watched Raw the following week. I would have watched Raw. I would have watched it, but I felt if Reigns would have won, and then he'd have won the title at SummerSlam, that could have been it for me. And I might have had to have gone on another 6 months break, 1 year break from WWE, which I don't want to do because I love it. But it's what it pushes me to do sometimes. But wow, have they made sure. They've said, Cameron, don't you dare leave us. You are a loyal fan. We love the loyal fan. Sometimes we don't say we do, but we do. We love the fact you tune in every single week. It doesn't matter what garbage we produce, you always tune in. We want to keep you as a fan. Of course, they weren't thinking that, but in my mind, they were thinking that. Finn Balor won, ladies and gentlemen. What a debut night. What a Monday Night Raw. No non-Battleground, a decent show. For me personally, a bit gutted Dean Ambrose won. But in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter now. Because I'm just thinking to myself, if Dean Ambrose wouldn't have won, we'd have seen Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. Well, I'd much rather see Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins. Sometimes you gotta just trust WWE and just trust they're doing the right thing. Smackdown is live tonight. I might even stay up and watch it. I'm that excited. I didn't stay up and watch Raw live because I was a little bit down in the dumps. Matt Preston's just come down in the dumps in general at the moment. I'm just making everything. You know what they say, when you're down in the dumps, you kind of fall out of love with things that you really, really do love. And perhaps that was what was happening. And perhaps it wasn't as bad as I thought it was, but certainly, wow, yeah, I feel like a fan again. Really, really happy. Great show. And now for the rating. What we're going to see tomorrow night, at the end of the SmackDown Live thing, we'll go through, as I said, the best match of the two shows, the best segment of the two shows. The best show will get a 10 points. All them will be for 10 points. And then we'll see the plus. But we can add on now to Raw. It can close the gap on SmackDown. It will always close the gap on SmackDown from now until SmackDown airs live. Because obviously I'm going to give the rating out for Raw before I give the rating out for SmackDown. Because SmackDown hasn't yet aired. So out of 10, maximum point amount of 10, I'm going to give Raw a solid 8. A solid 8, as I say, doesn't get to that 9, doesn't get to that 8.5, but I give it a solid 8. So it was on 10, so it is now on 18 points. Obviously, SmackDown will come in, say SmackDown comes in with a 7 rating. That will then move up to, say, 32. But obviously, the ratings out of 10 for them points, they're completely separate to what I think was the better show. Of course, whoever gets the better rating will get them extra 10 points. That's just self-explanatory. But let's just say that they're the same rating. Let's say SmackDown produced an amazing show and I give that an 8 too. I can't say, right, we share the points 5-5. I have to give one of the shows 10 points. So that's how it's going to be. So it's going to be entertaining. Can SmackDown respond? Raw is chasing them in our little competition in the MrWWEcam Battle of the Brands. It's 25 to SmackDown, 18 to Raw. An 8 show. Very, very good show. It has to be said. The ratings for Raw I think will be good. And I think the thing with Raw is if Raw has a good show, people will more than likely watch SmackDown, which could mean that people are... The SmackDown gets a better rating. I don't know. There's points for the rating as well. Whoever gets the better TV rating, that's another 10 points. So we've still got 40 goddamn points available. You know, and at the moment, it has to be said, I think really, Raw's going to win match of the week. Surely SmackDown can't produce anything that special. The whole, segment-wise, and what I mean by segment or moment, I might call it moment of the week, because that's probably better than segment of the week. Really, Sasha Banks and Finn Balor, that's going to be difficult to beat. So there's 20 points. The better show, I just don't think SmackDown's going to have a better show. So I think Raw could get another 10 points. And I think the rating might just be better for Raw. So it could get a whole 40 points. And SmackDown be left with, say, a 7. So that's on 32. An extra 40 points for Raw would leave it on an incredible 58. So it could play. Raw could be 58, kind of 30 to SmackDown up. Who knows? And the whole momentum, there could be a seismic shift in the Battle of the Brands. But currently the score as we end this episode, SmackDown 25, Monday Night Raw 18. Over 50 points available at the end of tomorrow's review. Make sure you tune in to see that and my thoughts on the review. Thanks for watching. Leave your thoughts and review down in the comments below if you want to. What did you think of Raw? Give it a rating out of 10. You don't, as I say, no one needs to get involved with the Battle of the Brands if they don't want to. You can do your own one if you want to. If you don't want to start it now, you don't have to. You can start it later. If you don't want to do it now, but in a month's time you do, then cool, start it whenever. And if you don't want to do it, you don't want to do it. That's absolutely fine. Do not mind in the slightest. But yeah, what was your rating for the show out of 10, or however you rate a show? Leave it down in the comments below, and I will see you for the Smackdown live review, similar time tomorrow night. Thanks for watching. Finn Balor and Sasha Banks. The new era is upon us. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.